Welcome to the Stand Up Fight Series Fight Night Preview Show, sponsored by CarStar Auto Body Repair Experts. I'm your host and owner of the Stand Up Fight Series, Chad Mueller, and with me, I got Danny Moriarty, undefeated professional MMA fighter, knocking on the UFC's door. Make sure you're following him. How can they follow you?
Instagram, Facebook. I do not have any other social media though.
Okay, because you want to follow this kid. He's going to be in the UFC 1-2 years tops. You know what, 3-4-0 in LFA right now.
Right now 3-0. We're currently looking for another fight.
And those aren't a 3-0 like easy pro fights.
Yeah.
You know, they're feeding them the wolves there.
Yeah.
And then over here, I got Jamese Taylor, the man, the myth, the legend, the first guy to ever fight 9 rounds in Muay Thai and come out with the win.
A pioneer.
Pioneer of the sport as well.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. I'm in
History
here.
making. How are you, man?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Man, I'm excited for these fights. You know, we got these fights coming up to Casa Loma Ballroom.
Yes,
real
beautiful
historic
venue.
Oh my gosh, and you know, it's a new home for us in our third fight. You know, we're just pulling out all the stops to this, and it's gonna sell out. If you need to get your tickets, get them now. StandUpFightSeries.com, and we're gonna talk a little bit about these fights. So let's go ahead and jump into that.
The Stand Up Fight Series is back in St. Louis, live at the Casa Loma Ballroom on March 4th. Don't miss the chance to see world-class kickboxing and Muay Thai action. In the main event, Drew Gigax takes on Aaorn Ortiz for the IKF Interim USA title in a 9-round title fight on March 4th. Enjoy the Las Vegas Fight Night atmosphere and witness 2 of the top kickboxers in the world go toe-to-toe. And featuring 3 other title fights. Get your tickets now and witness this epic event.
Thinking that you have control over me when you discover.
We're doing this show. We're going to give you guys some predictions of what we think is going to happen on fight night. You know, we got a big 9-round title fight for the IKF Interim USA title.
Yeah.
Let's
you know,
go.
9 rounds, and you've done it. You know what it's like. You know, we got Drew Gigax, 10-0, 6 knockouts. I mean, he's just been running through people. He beat Reginald Ledford, who beat, I don't know.
Beat Richard Abraham.
Yeah, Abraham. I don't know if you ever heard of Glory Kickboxing.
Right, pioneers over there.
yeah,
Raza
so,
went
you
over
know,
to Thailand back in the day. He's done it.
Yep.
He got a stellar career.
And Richard Abraham, he won a big tournament over there in Glory, and he was a star over there. And Reginald went there and knocked him down. And then Drew also beat Kuchlong, who was 7-2 as a pro.
I thought that one also was because he was a southpaw. I thought he would maybe give Drew a little bit more problems, but no, Drew just made it look easy.
He plowed right through him. Yep. And then also Aaorn Ortiz, so the opponent, the challenger for the IKF interim title, he also beat Kuchlong. Aaorn Ortiz is 38-8. He's a stud. He just won the World Games gold medal, which is essentially the Olympics. It's the Olympics for the sports that aren't in the Olympics, but they have the Olympic recognition. So, I mean, it's a big deal to win the World Games gold medal. The dude's an absolute stud, and this fight, I don't know which way it's going to go, and that's why we make these fights. I don't make tomato can fights.
That's what I love about stand-up. It's every fight is from top to bottom. Every fight is perfectly matched. You never get a fight where you see one guy that should not be in there with the other one. So you're going to get perfectly evenly matched fights every single
that's
time.
something, right now I'm doing the matchmaking, but eventually I think we're looking at Jamese to start doing some matches.
doing
I think so.
Let's get it.
I might let him have a few. But that's something I'm proud of is, you're putting fights on where no one knows who's going to win. My wife was sitting me like, who's going to win this fight? I don't know. That's the beauty of it. And, if you want to be a world champion, you got to beat the best. And that just goes for everything. I don't give no one no layups. Now, back to the 9 rounds, though. So you fought the 9 rounds. Tell us a little bit about, going through that. What did you like about the 9 rounds?
What I liked about the 9 rounds is, like we talked about before off camera, it was like there's a story you could tell with that. Like the first 3 rounds, can be different than the second 3. And then you have 3 more onto that. I felt like the first 3 of my rounds, my coach was like, you're getting your ass whooped. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, no, I'm going out there and working. And then the second 3, I'm picking it up a little. He's like, if you want to win these last 3, we got to go.
Yeah.
So it's telling a different story. And then you turn out, you don't know the cards. You don't see how the judges see it. But you need to almost mentally go in there to yourself and be like, you know what, I don't know what it is, and just go hard every round.
I love that fight too, because especially with fighting Zach Fox, dude, was tough
Man,
as
that's a tough
nails.
guy,
He was just straight up.
Those
out
last
of
3
Muay
rounds,
Thai.
you just picked it up, man.
Yeah, man,
You
I
picked
tried
it
to. I
up.
feel like he did a great job too, man. I give him a lot of credit.
Yeah.
I like you, Zach Fox. You're a tough guy, man.
Tough guy.
You know, real good dude. Good dude.
Yeah.
He might have told me he wants to run it back. But I
I
don't know.
also said the same thing, because let's just go ahead and put it out there, because I'm that type of guy. Sorry, I'm just sorry. It's just a real side note. Like, yeah, I heard people didn't think that I won that single-handedly, so we can run it back. You know, I said I wanted to knock him out, so let's go ahead and do that. That was my first 9 rounds.
Okay.
You've done Muay Thai a lot. I'm a mixed martial artist. I get it on in anything, but I love stand-up. So, Zach Fox, we can make this happen, and we can really get it on.
Before this, Jamese might have said, I'm not going to call anyone out
Nah,
tonight.
man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
He's
he
not
said
even
it.
5 minutes in.
5 minutes in. Yeah. I knew he was gonna do it, and he said it all like, you know, like smooth and
Oh
everything.
man,
too.
I respect him. I respect him. Him and Two Brothers Muay Thai down there.
I know,
Those
they're
guys are some
legit.
great guys. He's doing great things with his own gym. Diamond Boxing, I believe.
Yep.
Diamond Muay
Thai
Thai.
boxing.
I respect this guy so much. He got lineage with Sitjafo, Muay Thai, TJ the Thinking Man. Those are my people too.
Yeah.
Like, you're good friends with them. Like, it's just so much camaraderie. It's no ill will. I just want to be one of the best. So, and if he thinks he's better, I can't have that.
Right.
I can't have that,
I
man.
love it. I love it. And that's what makes fighters fighters. You know, we want to fight. We want to show people, you know, what we can do and shut up any doubters.
Yes.
And speaking of doubters, I mean, there's a lot of people that are still doubting Drew Gigax.
I don't know how you can do that.
You know, they're just haters, I guess.
Yeah.
And, you know, if he does come out victorious in this fight, I don't see how anyone could hate on him. You know, just Aaorn Ortiz is legit as they come. He fought for a world title, the WMO world title out in Dubai last year. The dude is an absolute stud. But
Yeah.
we're going to start talking. We're going to come back and talk about that later in the show. But we're going to start talking about this first bout of the night. This bout is Liam Patton versus Nolan Strady, and these two kids are 14 years old, and they're coming out.
Okay.
These kids,
Young boys.
Yeah, they've been competing in our IKF point kickboxing tournaments, and those are tournaments that are no knockouts allowed, a semi-contact, and it's a way for people to bridge the gap from sparring in the gym and then fighting full contact, because there is a big difference.
Yeah.
And before there was nothing to bridge that gap. You just go from sparring to fighting in the gym, and then you would find out some really hard lessons in full contact, and a lot of people would end up quitting the sport. I think it's really damaged the sport not having that kind of feeder, like Corey League type system.
Well, you got to think about it. Like when you start training, like everybody wants to fight. They think, you know, they're like, oh my gosh, that's, you know, that looks like the coolest thing ever. But then it's a whole different thing when you're in there and someone's staring at you, and you know, you get in there and you start scrapping. You know, you
this
really
ain't
find out
sparring.
if you want to do
You
it.
think this is
And
Sunday sparring.
Yeah, and some people, you know, they can handle it and some can't. And then, like you said, if they can't, you know, sometimes it's like, oh well, I don't need to do this anymore. But it's at least with the point tournament, you can see if you actually want to compete or if you'd rather just go through it and learn.
Stick with
and
those,
stick with the actual
and that's
just the
okay.
martial
You know, a lot
art.
of people do
Yeah.
just stick with those, and that's okay.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that. But on the flip side of that, we're also building champions.
Yeah, I
You
like
know,
that.
so we're building these kids up, and that's what I'm trying to do with the Stand Up Fight Series. I'm not just trying to promote and put on random fights. Like, no offense, you're an MMA guy. I want someone that's
No
straight
offense,
up
Jamese.
Muay Thai
Yeah.
and kickboxing, not bouncing
Yeah,
around.
yeah.
I'm trying to build up people to be world champions.
Yeah, that's what
you
we
know,
got.
Drew Gigax right now, we've been building him up. You know, we've
Yeah,
been
exactly.
promoting
Yeah.
him. And if Aaron wins, we're going to do the same thing with him. We're trying to build people up.
Miss
and I'm
Helton.
looking for those
Yeah.
next superstars, those next people that we can build up, become world champions. You know, we talked about, I'm going to do a little spoiler alert for later, but the winner of this fight at the main event, they're going to get either a world title shot or
Oh,
a
yeah.
intercontinental shot
Okay.
for an IKF title. So that's something I'm passionate about, and that's something that actually starts in the PKBs, is building these kids up. Yeah, I'm repping the hoodie right now, actually. But both these kids, you know, they are from there. They are legitimate, and it's going to be a barn burner of a way to start the fight. I mean, those
Oh,
kids
yeah.
are.
Yeah,
you'll
14.
see.
Start 'em
I
young.
can imagine 14. This is a big stage. This is great for them.
Yeah.
Something to look forward to in the future. You know,
Yeah.
other kids their age can see this too as well. Like you say, starting at the IKF tournaments
Yeah.
and then getting their way up to here. This is great.
Yeah, and actually, these first 4 fights are actually all from the PKB people.
Yeah,
I've
didn't
seen
you
on
say
there.
you scouted them
Yeah,
from that?
yeah.
I think that's cool
Yeah.
too, because you can look at their technique and say like, oh,
Yeah,
Styles
this
make
is-
fights.
yeah, maybe he
Yep.
wants
Yeah.
to fight, and maybe he could fight this guy.
Yep,
You know,
yep,
yeah,
absolutely.
I like
So
it.
up next, we got Steven Donaher out of Fight Fitness 618 with Shane Walker, and he's going to be fighting Jabari Dunn. Jabari, he's actually an international wushu student from the St. Louis Center. So he's got a little bit of that kung fu swag
Kung
to
Fu
him.
swag.
And
Okay.
he's pretty Pretty good. I'm excited for this fight because you don't see a lot of kung fu fighters.
Well, and you're in the gym and you're training for a fight. You don't really have people that can do stuff like that.
Yep.
And that's like a whole nother thing. And that's also another fight we're going to talk about later. A guy that is very unorthodox. But with that style, it's hard to you can't mimic that. You can't
see that.
Yeah, so that'll be fun.
And Jabari, he came to the PKBs, really impressed me. Really nice guy, and we're putting him on the show and giving him that chance to kind of show us that kung fu and see what that looks like. But he's taking on Steven Donner, who has more of a Dutch style, kickboxing style, real tight technique, but it's also both these kids' debuts, so you never know what might happen to that technique.
Yeah.
And sometimes having someone a little wild and crazy, they can kind of hit you from different angles that you don't expect and make your night really, really tough.
But with the Dutch kickboxing is a lot of, like, you're so tight in your guard and everything. Shelled up, nice, tight in your guard, and I feel like, especially if he has like a karate, if that wushu karate background, I feel like hard leg kicks, big hooks. I feel like that kind of thing.
Staying on the outside long,
I feel
keeping them shut up. You keep them shut up, you can land your strikes, hurt them maybe. This would be an interesting fight. I'm interested on that too, like you said.
Yep, I'm excited for that one. And up next, we got one of your training partners.
That's my guy, Munir. What's up?
Munir versus Moses Martinez. So Moses Martinez, he's out of the TCB Army out of Rogers, Arkansas with Aaron Kimball. They have just an absolute crew of fighters. I'm talking like 60, 70, 80 fighters in that gym.
Oh my gosh.
It is nuts. And they've got like this family bond. And Moses came to these PKBs, and he is so impressive. He's only been training like 8 months, but he looks like he's been training for years. Some people just pick it up real quick, and he's one of those kids. And I know
I'm very jealous of kids like that.
Me too, myself. I ain't gonna lie.
10 years, 11 years to finally understand half of it.
Yeah, getting to where we want to be almost.
Exactly, almost. Right.
And then we got Munir, who actually started with Jermaine Andre.
Yes,
he's been training for a while, and now he's training with you. Tell us a little bit about Munir.
Munir is a good guy. He's caught, like you said, with Jermaine, but now he's like the KBC garage with us at Quentin. He's a tough guy. I feel like, what you said about 8 months, I feel like Munir's still green in that sense. He came from Jermaine, but I feel like the technique came when he reached KBC garage, if that makes sense. I'm putting it together, game planning. Yeah.
Quentin's such a great coach that, he's probably able to break some old bad habits, create some good ones. And
that's exactly time. Some people it just takes longer to click too.
Yeah.
That's part of it. I will tell you, I'm calling it right now. Munir is going to have the walkout song of the night.
Ooh.
So I can't tell you what it is, but
off air.
I'll tell you.
But Munir, so you have to get
I want to be ready
knockout
for
of the night also.
Oh,
so you have to do this, Munir. You heard it. You got walkout of the night. Let's go, Munir. I'm sorry, we have to call out some predictions.
So up next, we got Cody Post out of Victory MMA out there with Aaron Collins. Aaron Collins actually came up under Fuad Koranovic. So Aaron's a great Muay Thai coach, great guy, and Cody's just a tough dude. And he's going to be taking on Martez Cox out of the Peoria Athletic Club with Ryan Blackerby. So if you're a fight fan in the Midwest, you probably heard of Ryan Blackerby and the Blackerby Boys.
You're just saying that last name. I'm like, Martez Cox, I don't know. You said Blackerby. You like, I know that.
Okay. and Martez, one of those guys, only been training 8, 9, 10 months.
But you're with Blackerby, so
I mean, he's just a natural freak athlete, and the dude is legit, and that's why I felt comfortable putting him against Cody Post, who's 1-0 in kickboxing and 1-0 in MMA.
When also Cody trains under Fuad. Fuad actually was my coach's trainer,
no. Right.
Jason Salufo's trainer.
Yeah.
So and if he's training that same system, I mean that's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Like I said, every fight on this card, I'm just
they're all number 4. We're only on number 4 right now.
and I can't pick a winner in any of them. That's what's cool about this. Up next, we got a special feature bout with Trey Lewis versus Todd McCall. So Trey Lewis out of Maryville Muay Thai, coming off a huge knockout. When he hits people, they like melt.
Yeah. The way that guy, his opponent,
on the
was
ropes,
just slumped over the ropes like that.
Respect
that last
to him,
one,
but man, he was out on the ropes.
I was just sitting there. Would never want to fight that guy.
Like, what's going on? Is he okay?
Yeah, is he all right?
You said you don't want to call winners, but I like Todd McCall. He's a tough guy. I seen him a lot around in the MMA circuit as well.
Yeah, he beat Kendall Whitehead in MMA.
Oh yeah, he did beat Kendall Whitehead. That's actually a big name right now.
That's a huge name. Yeah.
I was just watching that fight today. He trained out of Wolves Den for a little bit. Tyrese? No, not Tyrese. Man.
It'd be Tyree is who I know is if we have a gym. I don't
Who
know
are we
if Tyree's.
talking about?
Tom McHale?
Yeah, Tom McHale fought him in Nemesis.
You remember the show?
Oh, he fought Tyree.
Was it Tyree?
Yeah,
it might
he
have been
fought Tyree.
What was his
Okay.
last name? Davis? No.
Yeah, Tyree. Yeah, Tyree beat him. But
he
like
did?
it was,
Okay, it was close.
It was.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have gone the other way too, and I wouldn't have been surprised. You know, Todd's a tough dude,
Yeah.
and that's like
He's been fighting for a while.
You're gonna really get to see that MMA versus kickboxing kind of style and see and that's who better to represent MMA than a tough dude like him.
No, I do like that because that's like you said, my size
Yeah.
somewhat, which I gotta really be realistic. That's more me, you know, the MMA guy. You somewhat too, you know, you got good stand up.
Yeah.
But like as far as Trey Lewis, I feel like that's pure stand up,
Yeah.
pure power,
Yeah,
so,
pure killer.
Trey was actually supposed to fight for the 165-pound title. His girlfriend ended up having a baby, and just really killed
Congrats,
his weight.
sir.
Yeah, congrats,
Congrats,
had a
man.
baby. And that just kind of killed his momentum with the weight cut, and so we had to find him a fight a little heavier than what he's used to fighting. But I get the stress, you know, that's a big life change going on, and
Huge.
but yeah, so he's excited to go out there and throw down.
Every
And
time you post, like when you used to post pad videos all the time of your guys, and I would see that guy.
back when I had a free time in a life,
yeah, when he had free
Yeah,
time in a
I'm
life.
like, who is he, man?
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
remember that. I was like, God, that dude.
Oh, has he fought before?
Yeah, has he fought yet, or is that just like some dude you're bringing up, and you're like, oh,
Creating a
he's
leash.
fighting next week? Yeah,
Yep.
I remember that.
So up next is a fight I know you are very excited
yeah.
about. We got Dan the
My
Bad
buddies.
Boy Boyer versus
Yeah.
Richard Jones. So go on and tell us a little bit about Dan.
So, Dan not only is very good at Call of Duty, he's also a very good fighter. His
Wait, who's better, him or you? I called you.
Oh, him.
One-on-one.
by-
Really?
Oh my
Wow.
God, yeah.
Wow.
He carries us through
does
the
he?
games. Yeah, him and Trey. So Dan, he kind of had a little rough patch, and I think that his whole thing is when he was training and fighting before, he didn't have a coach. He didn't really have. You know, he had a couple people he was training with, but he wasn't really training seriously. And now that he's over there at your gym, you know, and he's picking things up, he's learning the techniques and everything. That last fight that he had when he actually used a jab.
I know.
Yeah,
He
like
was
say when he
jabbing
used
when
the
I
jab.
like-
Hey, you did use the jab, sir.
Yeah, like
Thank
I was
you.
telling him,
I bet his left shoulder was tight.
I was telling him the other night that when he was throwing his jab and then he made his opponent kind of like open up a little bit. His opponent was really tight, so he was just picking the jab, and then right when Christian would kind of open up a little bit, that's when those hooks would come, and he was just landing everything. So, and I'm excited. And Richard, obviously, I fought Richard before, and Richard is, you know, it depends on what Richard comes out there. You know, there's the super, you know, like kind of laid back one that's not really aggressive, but the aggressive Richard, man, like
The one who dunked on
if
you?
he comes,
He threw like that two-hand
Right.
punch on you.
the aggressive Richard, if he comes out, it's gonna be a very fun fight.
So Richard, he just heard your game plan right there.
Yeah,
Come
do
out.
that. Yeah, do that jumping dunk punch that you
Kong
did to
punch,
me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now up next is a fight that
Oh, I'm so excited for this
I mean,
one too.
the fans are going to win in this fight,
Yeah.
and there's a potential title shot chance
Oh yeah.
with this fight here. So we'll see. We will see. But we got Nero Henry versus Peaches, the famous Peaches.
Peaches.
Now Nero Henry, his record's 4-9, but do not let that
Oh no.
confuse you. He's 4-9, but he'd go out to the IKF East Coast Classic tournaments and he would go out there and fight, and he didn't have a coach. He would just train. He just loved to fight, and that's what I love about him. He loves to fight, but he would sign up for weight classes he had no business being in.
Right.
And so with that 4-9 record, it's kind of skewed. So now he's actually getting fair shakes. You know, I'm giving him actual real matchups in his weight class and helping him kind of cut weight and teaching him some things.
Good.
And he's on a big
He's on a tear, man.
Yeah. I mean, he knocked out Dan Boyer with a body shot.
Yeah.
He beat Vince Guerin, who's one of my most technical fighters
is
out
a
of
good
American
guy.
Muay Thai.
Real good guy.
It's just because he's so freaking
Dynamic
yeah,
and
just
different.
unpredictable,
Yep.
man.
Yeah, the unpredictability right there.
You're
Yeah.
standing
He
there in
hits
front of
hard.
he hits hard. You're standing there in front of him. You don't know what he's gonna do, and it's hard to make your own game plan against someone that they probably don't even know what they're.
Yeah, I'm throwing
gonna
a
do.
capoeira kick out of nowhere.
Exactly.
Like,
He
how do you
starts
like? Oh,
spinning, and
wait a
then
minute!
you're
I
like,
thought we
wait,
was
hold on a
checking
second.
kicks.
Yeah. Or when he holds his hand out like this and just rocks it, and you think you're like, okay, so he's doing.
Yeah.
You show about he's gonna throw his right hand, then all of a sudden the left
really
hits
does
you.
throw
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
he
he came
really
out of
does
nowhere
throw
with
it,
that
yeah.
okey doke. He was doing some things.
Yeah,
man.
he was.
feeling
man.
himself.
I'm excited.
And Shane, so Shane Walker, we talked about him earlier in the show. He cornered Nuriel, and he was like, Henry, the first round, don't do any of that crazy crap. Just stick to the game plan. And then third round,
Then
we can
bring
start,
it, yeah.
start bringing it. So I think
That's actually what happened during the fight. That
I
made
know,
sense
it is,
yeah.
he was actually more paced in the first round. A little. I was expecting a little more action, unfortunately.
Yep.
But, you
Yeah.
know, but it was good because he didn't, and he won a good fight. you
I
know?
believe Shane's direct quote was, "Do that Dragon Ball Z stuff."
Yeah,
Do
right.
that Dragon
He's
Ball Z
not-
stuff. Yeah.
the one thing I will say is I don't know if he's going to be able to start that slow against someone like Peaches.
Oh, I didn't know
Peaches
you
is going to
can't.
walk him down.
You're not gonna be able to.
Yeah, coming from the church, he's gonna have that heavy pressure. He's
Pressure,
gonna walk
pressure,
him
pressure.
down and try to put it on him.
Now, Henry said he's been doing a lot more powerlifting,
Oh,
and he said he's going to get a knockout this fight.
Okay.
And I told Peaches that.
what did Peaches
Well,
say?
Peaches saw it on. I didn't tell him. He saw it on
Oh,
Facebook
okay.
because he posted it for everyone to see, and that fired Peaches up. So
Okay.
this should be interesting.
Motivated
Yeah,
Peaches.
this is it.
Motivated
Okay.
Peaches.
Let's
He's got a
go.
chip on his shoulder. He lost his last
Yeah.
fight.
Yeah, it was
for
a
the
good title
Shamrock
fight. Yeah, he lost the title fight. So he's
versus
trying
a
to
little
get
bit
back.
taller, longer kid, and
Yeah, that guy was a little more versed, more diverse. I feel like a little more in the game, a little bit longer as well.
right.
You know, Peaches is still a little new, I say, but he's making his way up the ranks pretty fast.
Yeah, he
You
is.
know?
Yep. And he's the best barber in St. Louis.
Oh,
Oh,
the
yeah,
best.
Peach.
Yeah, the best barber in St. Louis. I need to come see you soon, Peaches.
Up next, we got Max Reed out of Maryville Muay Thai, and we got Troy Harvey Valiant
Ooh, it's gonna be a
out
fun
of the boxing gym over there with Oscar and Karen.
Yeah.
So this fight is interesting.
So with Reed, I became a huge fan immediately.
'Cause he
That
does
last
spin
one
stuff?
because he was
Is that
throwing
why?
those spinning
God,
elbows.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Oh
why, yeah.
man! Like the second I saw him start,
Like, how
spinning,
many was it,
It was
bro?
like 3 or 4,
In
and
a
his
row.
opponent was trying to do it to him too, and he'd kind of back up, and then he would throw it.
Throw
It was
it,
just,
yeah.
it was beautiful. So I became a fan of Reed really fast.
I'm interested to see what Troy comes with. Like, I didn't know he was out of Oscar and Karen's gym. Like, I know
Yeah.
Oscar. That's
So
a good
you know
dog.
he's tough,
Yeah,
yeah.
so like that already
Yeah.
put a little knowledge on me. Like, okay, he's gonna come out with some hands too,
Yeah.
probably some
Probably-
heavy
probably
hands,
some
Yeah,
heavy
so
pressure
combos.
as
on
well.
on our fighters list, he listed himself as a Muay Mat. So Muay Mat and Thai means like you're a boxer,
boxing.
heavy
Yep.
puncher.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's okay. I can see that. This
That'll
will be a good
fun
fight.
one. Yeah,
I like Max Reed though. I like his style.
I do too. I want to see some more elbows.
Yeah, kind of what I want to see. I want to see how this fight matches up. Actually,
Well,
That's-
this,
Yeah.
is, this
interesting
is a
style.
Muay Thai fight, so
Yeah.
you will see elbows.
Well, and with a boxing style against a Muay Thai style, that's interesting because
Yeah.
Muay Thai fighters, it's more like forward and
Well,
back.
Troy comes out. He comes out in that,
Does he?
Thai structure
Okay.
and
Okay.
a lot on the front leg, so this should be a good fight.
Yeah, it'll be
two
fun.
very similar styles, and I think it'll be a good chess match. It's not going to be, like a Peaches Henry fight where they're just going crazy.
Going at
Right,
it. Yeah, you know
going
that's
at
gonna be
it.
going at
Barn
it.
And this one's going to be a little bit slower, so I think the casual fan might not really like it, but people that are really into the fighting, I think they're going to
I
be
think they're
eating
going
it
to see
up.
a couple spinning elbows.
Yeah, and if you see how he sets him up, you got to realize that's what's so
Yeah.
impressive. Like you may think it's boring, but like when he sets that up,
Yeah.
that's a hard move, right? He
Oh,
gas
yeah.
the Bolanos, come on, man. Like
Yup.
it's hard to hit these things,
Yup,
man.
yup.
Danny Moriarty, right? You know, it's hard to hit them.
And I will tell you, Max Reed, he was disappointed he didn't get a knockout yet, and he told me he's
coming for it.
Yep.
Coming for it. Okay. All right.
But we'll
we'll
see.
see.
There we
We
go.
will
I'll put that
see.
in my book.
Well,
right
he knows
there.
what I want to see. So
All right, up next is another fight that, this could be main event on a lot of cards.
yeah, this could have been amateur main event.
Yep.
If you're doing an all amateur card,
Yep.
yeah, I can't wait for this one.
We got James Whitaker versus Jason Newman. So Jimmy Whitaker,
yeah.
he's 26-11, facing off against Newman, who's 14-7.
Yeah.
Newman's one of those names that's been around for a long
Oh
time.
yeah. Back when I started fighting, he
Yeah.
had already had a few fights.
Yeah, fights. You knew
Yeah.
the Newman brothers. You know all
Newman
three
brothers,
of them.
Eric,
actually.
Damian,
It's like you know all
Jason,
three.
yep.
Now, do you
Yeah.
know where Newman originally came up from? What gym?
Steve Berger.
Yeah,
Steve
Burgers
Burger.
in the
Oh,
main
yeah,
fit,
okay.
fitter fight.
So out there
Yeah,
with
right
Chris
there,
Henley
yeah.
and
Oh
all
yeah,
those
they had
guys.
they had a really
Stomp,
tough
as they
room for a
call
while.
them.
Stomp.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a really tough
They
room.
had Smashley at the time too. Back in the
Yep.
day, they had a lot of good people.
But
back
now
then.
with Jimmy is
back to Newman though. He's at the church now, so he made that camp
yeah,
change.
he switched over full time.
Yeah.
He made a post today showing his figure, and he was like, "This is the best shape
Best
I've ever
shape.
been
Well,
in."
yeah, being at the church, with Jamie.
So I'm excited to see him. He has another chip on his shoulder. He lost that last fight. It was a title contender fight versus Kendall Whited, and it was Newman's first ever Muay Thai fight. He probably wasn't the right weight class for him. He
Right.
figured it out, and now he's moved down.
Okay.
But he's fighting a stud in Jimmy Whitaker, and actually Newman said he's coming to derail the hype train.
Derail the hype train. I heard about
James
that.
Whitaker.
Yeah, so my thing with that is Jimmy deserves whatever hype that he has right now
there's
because
no
of
hype.
how hard that kid works.
There's no hype.
Him and I see him every Sunday in the gym, and his dad brings him down to cross train out of Metro Krav Maga, and they come down and they cross train. And Jimmy, I mean, he goes so hard when he's spars too. I see him and he's working hard. He goes back, listens to his dad, comes back out, does his rounds. Then goes and hits the bag. He's always working super hard. He's got 3-4 sessions in a day. He deserves whatever hype.
He trains like a professional, and he got silver medal at the Pan American Games, and now he's fighting in the World Combat Games. I think in Saudi Arabia or somewhere over there. And
he wants to be the best, and that he deserves all that hype.
But can he? Because his big knock on his last fight was he kind of fought down to his opponents.
Yeah,
you're not saying his guy that beat him was
Willie nice.
Yeah,
I get
Willie's
Willie came out. He
But
came out, did his thing.
Yeah, Willie's
the
tough.
fighting he does with the Waco, it's all about points. You know, and when you have someone that's not kind of doing that traditional fight, and you're not really looking for that knockout and really put that leather on someone, it can really throw you off that game. So hopefully he can adjust from that tournament Waco style to more of a fight night.
And I think he has, because that's something that I know that he's heard even through the grapevine. He's been hearing things like that. I know
he's adjusting.
because people are been saying those things. Because even my camp, we're like, that boy's cold, but he just needs to. That point stuff is good, but you got to damage, ringmanship. There's other things that are going to be added when you get up out of the tournaments, and those tournaments are great. Like you said, silver medalist. Come on now, that's of the world, right?
I'm excited for this fight. Whoever wins is going to catapult him up for a title shot for sure.
Definitely. I'm very excited for this. Like I said, I've known Newman forever.
Yeah, and I love my boy Newman. I like both. I train with
yeah.
Jimmy too as well, and I love Newman. I know him, like you said, back in the day. This is gonna be
a banger, man.
I'm happy whoever wins.
Yep.
I'm happy whoever wins though.
Up next, we got Austin Mueller and Jesse Wright in a kickboxing fight. Now I'll give you a little history of both guys. So Austin Miller out of ESMMA with Eric. And how do you say his last name?
Eric Steenberg, man. Yeah,
Steenberg.
One of the premier striking coaches in the area. I've been down at his gym many times now, and I love the way he breaks down technique. I mean, the guy just knows his stuff. And if you look at some of his guys that don't even have fights yet, they've never even fought,
talented.
And you spar with them, and you'll say how many fights do you have? And they're like, I've been training for 4 months. Tough dudes, and they're really, they just had really technical. So any fights that you see his guys on the card, they're going to come and they're going to know.
Yeah, it's been really good.
And I feel like this is a coming out party kind of for Eric as a coach, because these two kids, Austin and Kendall,
both on the same card.
They've been with him since day one. So if you don't know Eric started his gym last year?
So? I think it was last year. He started his gym last year, and it has grown tremendously.
Yeah.
And Austin is one of the starters of that. And I will tell you what, I went down there on Saturday and was watching him in his Shark Tank, and that boy is ready. He's ready to go. So that'll be very fun.
You gotta be ready, right?
Yeah.
Well, you gotta be ready because he's fighting one of those tough kids from Arkansas. We got Jesse Wright out of TCB Army again with Aaron Kimball, and this dude. I don't know if you've seen a picture of him. He is jacked.
Yeah,
he is a strong looking dude,
tough looking guy.
3-3 in MMA, 3-0 in boxing, and this is his kickboxing debut. But there's a little bit of bad blood here because
a little motivation.
A little story time. So we were in Arkansas for a fight. One of my fighters was on card, and Eric had Austin Miller down there fighting and a couple other people. And Austin had a fight, had a nice head kick knockout versus one of Jesse's teammates.
Ooh, KO'd your brother.
Yeah, so there's a little bad blood here.
That head kick was nasty too. If that was my teammate, I'd be mad as well.
Oh, buddy.
Head kick was nasty.
Get it back.
Yep, absolutely. And that's what we're fighters. We want that. We want that kind of revenge and kind of get that one back up on the scoreboard. Do it for your brother, because when you train with these people, they are like family. Like guys at my gym, I tell them all the time. You guys are like some of my best friends. I don't even talk to anybody else.
Yeah, that's exactly how I am. When they get in, I'm more nervous for when my friends fight than when I fight.
Absolutely,
because I can control what I do, but I can't control. I wish I could. I wish I could have a controller and especially with Justin, he gets hit too much.
Oh, Mr. Richter, let's go.
Move your head, buddy.
You next, man. Move that head.
Well, at least it's block shots with his cup.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
What was that, 4 in a row?
Exactly how many, bro?
4 in a row. Yeah. That was not fun.
Yeah, man.
That was not fun. Shout out to Diamond MMA Cups.
Yeah.
Sponsor me, please.
Send you another one.
Yeah.
You get one of those steel ones.
That dude, he had the Thai cups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, up next, this is another fight that's going to be absolute fireworks. We got a Muay Thai bout with Clayton Sheldon, Clayton Big Country Sheldon,
Big Country,
Cell Edwards. So Cell Edwards is out of Decatur, Illinois, I think that area, and he's trained by Lucas Gwaltney.
Yeah,
and he's 2-0 in kickboxing. His MMA record, I think, is like 1-3 in MMA. But that was like before we really started training, and then he got with Lucas, and then he beat just recently on NFA Terry Copeland, who has been around. He's a
Terry Copeland's a tough son of a gun.
So he's a former NFA champion in their MMA promotion there. Trains out there at the Smith Pit with Dakota Bush, who's going to be on the Ultimate Fighter. And then Jake Collier, who's been in the UFC also in the UFC. Years.
The Smith Pit has been around forever, and every time,
Colton Carmack,
the toughest dudes.
Some tough dudes down there.
Like so, coming up with a big win off that, just shows the kind of fighter that Cell Edwards is. And Clayton, he's 5-0, great kid. He's won the U.S. national kickboxing tournament, the same ones that James Whitaker's won out there. And the dude's just a stud. And this is a tough test because Cell, he's a little unorthodox, and tell us about like fighting someone unorthodox. What kind of challenge that brings to me?
I feel like that's usually me, honestly. I'm the more unorthodox one I hear. Like I used to have a really herky-jerky style. I've had to adapt that and stop it. And
he is very unorthodox.
Yeah, and I feel like I don't necessarily see it as much, but when I do see it from people, I'm like, what the heck are you doing? Like, even I'll say mob jitsu, like he's known as a jiu-jitsu, right? But his striking is very different.
It's
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and
no,
like,
I see
man,
what you're
did you just tag me with? Like, what do you?
I also remember sparring you, and you're like looking at my feet, and then your foot comes straight up and hits me in the face. Yeah.
So it's a body kick. Yeah. Okay.
Little short king joke. No worries.
I don't get to do that much.
You don't. You really don't.
Yeah. So
anyway,
that's a great fight. I'm gonna pay for that later. He's gonna take me down and Kimura
or something. Yeah.
All right. So up next we got Jack Crum versus Patrick Vega. This is the IKF Missouri Illinois interstate title here. And this fight's just going to be nuts.
I feel like I know both of their strategies or what I would do if I was either one of them, and that's why I love this fight because I can't wait to watch it. Like, so Vega comes from Jamie's gym, the church, and again, high pressure guys. They're always throwing volume, and that's just how he fights. That's how he's always fought. Now with Crum, I remember his last fight and the leg kicks that kid was throwing. I mean, you could hear him from across the room, and I was sitting right there, and it was just like, oh, just listening to those things. And I feel like with a boxing heavy pressure style like that, if you can start chopping those legs, you can really do some damage, and you can really stop that kind of pressure. But Vega's gonna put it on him right away. So can he kick going backwards like that? That's gonna be kind of hard. Because Vega's gonna put him on his back foot, and he's gonna push him up against the ropes, work his boxing, work his body. It's gonna be a really fun fight. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, and both these guys are undefeated. We got Jack Crum 3-0 versus Patrick Vega 6-0.
How many rounds is that?
It's 3 rounds.
It's
a late notice fight. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're doing 3 rounds for that title, and then
where's Crum out of?
He's out of American Muay Thai.
Oh my goodness! So he's gonna come. Oh man, chopping down legs. Yeah, that's gonna be something. I see exactly what you say as far as the game plan.
Everyone says that about Muay Thai, chopping the legs, but real traditional Muay Thai, leg kicks really don't count.
Yeah, they don't count. They don't score anything.
Thailand.
They don't score anything.
So we work a lot of body kicks, and actually get mad at my guys because they never throw leg kicks. So we'll see if they actually throw leg kicks.
I think it'd be good in this fight just because he said. I think it'd be great against a boxer.
He must not have been listening to you the last one.
Yeah. I mean, this fight. I mean, it's just 2 guys who have gas tanks. Crum, like we did a sprint drill where we, run a quarter mile, and he will sprint a quarter mile sprint and not even phase. He's just like a gazelle running.
Oh yeah.
No, that's tired. I ran track. A lap is tiresome.
Is hard.
Yeah, a lap is hard, bro.
Yeah.
That's
like full out.
Yeah.
Well, you ever watch the Olympics? Watch someone do a 400-meter run, and they are dying at the end of it. And dude's got a gas tank, but that's what Patrick Vega's known for. He was a Olympic caliber type swimmer. He trained at the Olympic Training Center there with Ryan Lochte, Michael Phelps and Ryan Lochte. Yeah. So he trained with those guys,
That's awesome.
competing against those guys. This is just going to be a fight of who can do their game plan. We all know, Vega's game plan. He comes forward, he comes through you.
He's coming after you.
If Vega does, or if Crum follows his game plan, who knows what could happen? But if he sits there and just tries to brawl with them, probably not going to work out very well. So,
Right? Yeah, that's gonna be a banger. I can't wait for that one.
Yep. And up next, we got another IKF title fight. This is for the Missouri-Nebraska Muay Thai title. We got Kendall Whited versus Teen Trong. So Teen Trong's out of Omaha, Nebraska. And the way I actually found this kid is I had a Sanchai and Superlek seminar at my gym. And he drove all the way from Nebraska to come down here and train with Sanchai.
Yeah, I was very jealous I couldn't go to that.
And he was sparring Superlek, and the kid looked real good. So we got connected, and we had this title shot opportunity, and he was the man for it. To take on Kendall Whited, who's now I think 4 or 5-0.
I think 4 or 5-0. Yep. I mean, and the way he's finishing people is ridiculous.
Yeah, was it 4 knockouts out of those?
4 knockouts, a couple leg kick stoppages.
Yeah,
buddy.
And I mean, the kid is a super athlete.
Yeah, I mean, he looks
he's
like a professional athlete. Like if you think of a fighter, what they look like, it's this dude. He's just jacked and young.
And his technique too. His technique and he's a southpaw, so he's already going to give people problems.
Yep.
And man, the way he chops those legs is it's nasty. The last
Pretty
couple
gnarly,
fights, yeah.
Now, the one kind of kicker on this, and Kendall's out of ES MMA with Eric Steenberg as well, and the only kicker out of this that we haven't seen is Teen Trong is a legitimate Muay Thai style. If you follow the TBAs, he had a 16-man bracket and ended up getting second place out of that. We went 3-1 over 3 days of
3-day
fights.
tournament. That's tough. Biggest tournament in North America.
Yeah, so he has a really good just Thai foundation, and Kendall hasn't fought that yet in a Muay Thai fight. He's fought Sean Briggs that had more, he's an MMA guy.
A lot more MMA guys.
Jason Newman, more of an MMA or more just a traditional kickboxing. So it'll be interesting to see how he does.
He's up for the test.
I think
that this will be a very fun fight, and I think you'll get to really see some.
I want to see him go through some adversity because he's been kind of plowing through some things.
This one's 5 rounds. It's Kendall's first ever 5 round. I think it's Teen first ever 5 round.
Unless you get him out of there, we're gonna see something.
Yep, I've seen Teen one punch KO someone, and I've seen his sweeps. He's got some incredible sweeps. So this will be an interesting fight.
I'm excited for
this
it.
one's going to be a banger.
Yep.
And then up next, this one.
Oh, yeah.
Co-main event.
This is such a good fight.
IKF USA certified title. We got Liz Helton versus Teresa Bronco. So these two women, 2 of the best fighters in America in the 127-pound women's division.
Yeah.
Liz, 12-7 record. Teresa Bronco, 12-2. I know her. Teresa's gym's pretty well.
Yeah,
really. We're going to talk about that gym out there.
Striking Institute, like Ryan Murray, Kaylin Young,
PFL.
That's where, PFL, exactly. Yep. She's fighting there. You got Reggie, those guys, Kuch Long, a lot of good guys come out of there. And they were out of, I believe before that, they were working with people like Trouble Jones, before that even. Like, so they got a great lineage of people over there with just... They produce so many fighters. When you say there's another one, I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't even know she was out of there. And 12-2, 2 losses, she's coming.
And that 12-2 is fighting national tournaments too. I mean, those are TBAs, DeWaco tournaments, national tournaments. Like she goes out and fights. Yeah,
Striking Institute doesn't give you. They're like Maryville Muay Thai. You're not coming in and getting anything easy. You're gonna come out here, you're gonna train, and we're gonna give you a fair fight, but we're gonna give you a fight.
Yeah. Yep. They're not scared to take tough fights with. Some gyms are known for not taking tough fights and some.
We ain't gonna say no names on here.
And that's why I tell people in stand-up fight series, there's no easy fights.
No,
there's no fights where you come out like, okay, that guy's just gonna walk over him.
And to speak of not easy fights or easy opponents, Liz Helton, man. So I trained with Liz over at Wolves Den, and Liz, the other week we were sparring. I think it was on Sunday, and she was just beating everybody up. Like she was beating everybody up in the gym. She was picking up my leg, just sweeping me out, boxing me up, doing everything. And Liz is ready, and this is the most on point she's ever looked.
Really,
and I'll tell you that right now.
She's one of the hardest workers.
She's the hardest worker. Like in the gym when you're in there and you're working and you see her, she's working always twice as hard as you.
Yeah,
every time you could think that you're working hard, Liz is working harder than you. She eats, sleeps, and breathes this stuff. and she is ready.
When you
She's ready
said
for this
eats,
fight.
like you said, sleeps right too, eats right,
Eats right,
Like,
sleeps
so
right.
you-
She
you
does-
actually
she
saying it
literally
all
does
correctly.
everything
She
that
does it
she's
all
supposed to
right.
do.
She does it like a pro, and she ain't even a pro yet. You know, hopefully soon.
This next one,
Hopefully
after
soon
this
get
next
this
one,
title.
Yep.
Get this title.
And something that's pretty cool is Liz Helton's wife, Lily Helton, just won the IKF 117-pound USA title.
Yep.
Ooh.
So we're
Same
gonna have-
household.
Yeah, that's one thing we don't want to mess with. But what's also cool about this fight is Teresa Bronco's husband, Gabe Bronco, fought on our inaugural card. He fought Max Turiev.
Oh, really?
So we got two fighting
Oh,
families.
so that's who fought Max.
Yeah.
That was a tough guy. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie.
Oh,
That
my
was a
God,
fight.
yeah.
You were taking some shots. You're a tough guy. He's solid.
Very
Because like Max
solid.
gave him some shots and he came back, and I was
Yep.
like, wow. I hope Max don't get tired because like the shots that he was throwing, I'm like, you might be
Yeah.
gassing out a little bit.
Yep,
Right.
that was a crazy fight.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, this is gonna be a fun one. Yeah.
and now our main event, fight of the year in America for sure. In
Oh, for
kickboxing. Something I'm proud about is we're bringing the best fights here, and we're bringing the best fighters we can find. And Drew Gigax, 10-0, 6 wins by knockout, coming off a first round knockout, flying knee knockout to win the IKF Interim USA title. Taking on the one and only Aaorn Ortiz, 38-8
Yes.
record, the 2022 World Games gold medalist, the 2022 IFMA, an Abu Dhabi elite division, and at 86 kilograms. So that's actually a heavier weight class than what he won the World Games in. Dude is an absolute stud. Big name coming up. If you follow Muay Thai, you know Aaorn
Aaron.
Ortiz, because him winning that gold medal in Abu Dhabi and then coming back and winning it again in America
Yeah,
at the World
winning here in
Games.
Denver.
That
Yeah.
was a huge deal.
Huge deal.
And some people, are talking about Drew Gigax saying he hasn't fought no one, which I 100%
Man has fought a
disagree.
murderer's row of opponents.
Yep.
And the way he's finishing them too. It's just, he's something special.
Yeah, he's just doing everything he needs
Yeah.
to do. For the people, like you say, he hasn't fought anybody. Well, then he's doing what he needs to do. I
Exactly,
guess, right?
yeah.
To get to, like
Making
you said,
it look like he's not
making it-
fighting.
Yeah, exactly.
And he, it is a 9-round title fight. So this changes things. And the reason this changes things, 5 rounds, 3 rounds, anyone can kind of fight that. 5 rounds is a little bit harder.
Yeah, it's hard.
I'm not gonna lie, it's a little
That's
harder. But 9 rounds, you have to train a different way.
Yeah, but
You're going in there, you're fighting 9 rounds. It tells a story throughout the fight, and it's about growing the sport of kickboxing in America again. I always tell people, imagine Floyd Mayweather if he fought 5-round fights.
Right.
You're not getting your money. Jake Paul fights 8-round fights.
Yeah.
You get hit on his 10.
Jake Paul fights 8 rounds fights. You gotta fight
So
8
imagine
round
if
fights.
these guys are only fighting 3 rounds. You're not finding out who the world champion is in the IKF, and we're working our way up to 12-rounders, and we're working our way up. One, for the fighters, but 2, we want to pay these guys more.
Right.
As the stand-up fight series grows, as we get more sponsors like Cargstar, who's jumped on board now. Third Coast Shirts that's jumped on board. We're going to start paying these fighters more, and these 12-round fights, people are going to be really excited to fight in our cards, especially what we're looking to do, with these world title shots and building up these fighters and everything. But it's just making the game different, and we really messed up by going back to 3 rounds. So if you haven't followed kickboxing, it used to be 12-round fights. Like Johnny Davis, the VP of the IKF, he fought 12-round title fights. He knocked out Mike Wheeljohn to win the USA title.
Oh, wow.
So Johnny
Superfoot.
Yep.
Superfoot.
Wow.
But 12 rounds, you got to train a different way. It's going to bring a different dog out of you.
It's a
9
different
rounds,
dog.
it's going to bring a different dog out of you. Who wants it more? Who did the extra training rounds? Who did the extra work in the gym? Who's eating better? Who's, sparring harder, hitting pads harder? All that's going to come into play if you're fighting 9 rounds versus just doing a 3-round fight, 5-round fight. So tell me a little bit about your 9-round fight. Did that take you in that kind of deep waters where you
Yeah,
thought you
like
were-
everything you just said,
Yeah.
like who's eating right more, who's training a little bit more, who's like, I got to do a little bit extra. That's all
Yep.
it is. Because once you get to, like you said, 5, 6, you
Those
like,
are those
man,
dog rounds.
I got 3 more rounds.
Yep.
I just did 6. I'm losing. Then we was like, no, I'm not going out there like that, man. So we said the training was just a little bit different. We took it a little meticulous. We added around each week, to build up to the 9 rounds.
You could tell you did that too because every single round you came out harder.
Yeah, you tried to come out hard. I'm like, no, I got to come out hard. I'm not tired. That minute in between was too much for me sometimes. I feel like it was actually just enough. I'm talking crazy. But you know what I mean? I get back right in there and like sit down, take your breath and go. But that break was good. Like I felt like my heart rate was dropping perfectly like it was in camp, like you were in there training, and I felt I wanted it more. Again, I'm going to go back to Fox. If you think you wanted more, let's do it again, sir.
Let's go. Yeah, there we go.
And something cool
Put that on in May right there. That's
no, but
who am I going to commentate
in May.
with?
He already said that. We had to ask for Kusong in May because I felt like he didn't get his fair share. Drew came out too fast. Like we said, Kusong was a slow starter. Yeah. He got finished in the first round. I feel like he deserves this 9-round event, sir. That first round doesn't work out. I think he should get a chance at 9 rounds. And I know I am somewhat of an MMA guy, but he's had MMA fights too as well. I think we can make it work.
Yeah, I like that matchup too.
He's already matchmaking.
Matchmaking his own fights.
Is that about me? Is it about me?
That's not what he meant by matchmaking, Jamese.
And talking about a knockout. Something cool what we're doing with this fight is we have a $500 knockout bonus for this fight. So TKO, KO doesn't matter. You're walking away with the extra $500 in your pocket right there in the ring. So that just adds a little bit more. When I announced that, Drew Gigax said, "Dude, I was already coming for the knockout, but now I'm coming even harder."
So what is he going to be? 3 for 3? So he's 2 for 2, right?
Yeah, he's 2 for 2.
He's 2 for 2. So you get 3 for 3. You getting paid a little bit. You take me out to dinner, baby. Let's go. All them hard rounds I gave you.
All those hard rounds he gave you right there.
Let's go, man.
That's what I'm saying.
My rib hurt. Let's go.
But I was talking to Ortiz, and we asked what his prediction for the fight is, and he said he's going to win by knockout.
Okay.
Ooh. Ortiz, I like it, man. You tight. I like that, man. Yeah. I'm glad that you came back like that. Because if you came back soft, I'd want to fight you next too.
Jamese is just trying to fight everyone.
Anybody.
Everyone. Maybe get him in Superfoot.
Yeah, man.
I love Superfoot. Sorry, but that is dope. I'm glad that you put that on there. That gives you a little bit more of a incentive to go out there and fight a little harder. In the later rounds, it's getting a little stale. Like, I want that knockout. Yes. I want to make a staple also. And this is a title fight. Let's make this interesting. Let's go out there, leave it all in the ring.
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to grow the sport. Trying to do things right. And
you're doing a great job. How many events?
You put me on. I'm happy.
This is our third fight.
event. Yeah. Look at every single card.
We got
amazing, man.
New venue. It's gonna look like Las Vegas, and they were spending a lot of money on lighting. It's gonna look awesome though.
The Casa Loma Ballroom is beautiful. Like you said, the balcony seating you can see from every seat that you get. I like that. Like you could be up top and you looking right down in it, like you're right there. I love that.
Yeah, the Christmas lights going, all that stuff.
Get it popping.
All right, guys. So that's what we got for your fight preview show. I am your host, Chad Mueller, Jamese Taylor, Danny Moriarty. You need to get tickets, standupfightseries.com, or you can watch it on pay-per-view at akplive.com. We will see you Saturday.